virus and bacteria. Introduction. The cell is the building block of life. Hence all life forms are composed of living cells that function together as a single unit. In this lesson, you will look at the concept of cell as a basic unit of life, distinguish between eukaryotes and prokaryotes, and finally consider the mode of life of virus and bacteria. Objectives. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to explain the concept of cells as the basic unit of life, distinguish between eukaryotes and prokaryotes, describe the mode of life of virus and bacteria, the cell concept of a thin slice of 8 plants viewed under a microscope. You will observe many small components separated by partitions. This cell structure of plants was first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1667, when he examined a thin piece of cork under a primitive microscope. The cell theory, two scientists, namely Schleiden, a Belgian botanist, 1838, and Schwann, a German zoologist, in 1839, proposed that the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all forms of life. Organisms may consist of one or many cells. Organisms consisting of only one cell are called unicellular organisms. An example is amoeba, whilst those consisting of many cells are called multicellular organisms. Example is humans. All new cells arise from pre-existing cells. For example, the formation of egg by a process called cell division. Eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Eukaryotes are not cells but particles, mainly viruses. They differ from true cells in that they do not have nucleus, cytoplasm and cell membrane. They contain genetic material which is either DNA or RNA surrounded by a protein coat called capsid. They reproduce only inside a living cell using the structure of the host cell. Eukaryotes crystallize as non-living chemicals. Examples of eukaryotes are bacteriophagia, HIV, Ebola virus, influenza virus, poliovirus, etc. Prokaryotes differ from other cells by having no membrane-bound nucleus, no definite nucleus. They are unicellular with simple internal structures. Each cell has nuclear material or DNA lying in the cytoplasm with no membrane around it. They lack membrane-bound organelles. They reproduce asexually by a process called binary fission, where they divide into two similar cells. Example is bacteria. 1. Mode of life of virus. Viruses are smaller than bacteria and can only be seen under electron microscope. They are found in varieties of shapes including rod-like, spherical, spiral, hexagonal, etc. Virus can reproduce by replication inside the cell of a living host only. They modify the host DNA, causing the cell to make copies of the viral genetic material instead of that of the host. The new viruses are transmitted to other cells as inert particles. They cause diseases such as sore throat, AIDS, poliomyelitis, Ebola and measles in humans, foot and mouth diseases in cattle and mosaic diseases in tobacco and cassava. 2. Mode of life of bacteria. Bacteria, including blue-green bacteria, are unicellular organisms that are found in every part of the environment. Many bacteria have very thin whip-like structures called flagella for locomotion. This may be attached to only one end, both ends are found all around the cell. They usually reproduce asexually by binary fission on reaching a suitable size. A fast-growing bacteria undergoes binary fission every 20 minutes. Conjugation is a sexual mode of reproduction in some bacteria. Example is Escherichia coli. Some bacteria cause diseases such as cholera, pneumonia, typhoid, syphilis, and boils in humans. Summary: in this lesson we learn about the cell as the basic unit of life. Differences between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Mode of life of virus and bacteria.